Oh hello, this is Tak Chung from Walk with Tak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe and share. Please feel free to write me at walkwithtak@gmail.com if you have any questions regarding this video or any other videos that I have posted in the past. It is easier for me to answer you through email. And if you have any video that you would like me to make in the future, please let me know. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Every night I walk in the kitchen, I want to make sure that I have fun and enjoy the food that I cook. I know this is the only way for me to keep on cooking. I know it is also true for you. If you want to make home cooking sustainable, you must make home cooking practical, efficient, creative, and fun. And this is the goal of this YouTube channel, to introduce you to my fast cooking system. And the word FAST is the acronym of the 4 attributes of this cooking system that stand for flavor chasing, advanced prepping, stir frying, and template-based cooking. And once you master the fast cooking system, you can cook almost anything that you would like. Today's video is a good example. I'm going to make a basil chicken. Actually, it's a request from a viewer. I have never cooked this dish before, but with template-based cooking, I quickly figured out how to do it. I love stir frying. In fact, every evening I look forward to enter into the kitchen because I love this cooking technique. It is very fast, it is efficient, it will allow you to cook almost anything that you would like. I use a Cuisinart 14-inch stainless steel wok. This is my everyday wok. I think it is important that you find a wok that you enjoy using. And there are many factors to choose the wok that will fit your need. To me, one of the most important factors is the weight. This wok is very light. It weighs about 3 pounds. It's probably one of the lightest wok on the market. I like it to be light because quite often I like to lift the wok. For example, when I transfer food from the wok to a serving plate, it's much easier if I can lift the wok with that long handle, one-handed, so I can tilt the wok and then make transfer the food much easier. If the wok is too heavy and when there's food in it, it might be too difficult for you to do this particular transfer action. I choose stainless steel because it will not rust and easy to maintain. I also choose a 14-inch wok because it is large enough for me to cook most of the food that I want to. Since the wok is scalable, you can cook for 1 person or for 6 people using a 14-inch wok. I place the wok on my glass-top electric stove and I turn the heat all the way to high, and usually takes about 1 to 1.5 minutes to heat up the wok. You know the oil is hot enough if you see the oil start to ripple as soon as you add to the wok. And usually within about 15 to 20 seconds, the oil will give a slight hint of smoke. And in this case, you want to turn down the heat to maintain the temperature, and you let the temperature to retain for about 10 to 15 seconds. This is the time when the wok is being seasoned. And I call this method known as spot seasoning. This step is important because I'm going to cook some chicken, and chicken have a tendency to stick and burn to the surface of the wok. If you do not season the wok well, you might have problem. Advanced prepping the chicken is important for the efficiency. These are chicken breasts, and after I bring them back from the store, I will slice them into the size that are appropriate for stir frying. And then I will package them into Ziploc sandwich bag in about 8 ounce portions. You can take a look at this video on more specific aspects of how to prep chicken in advance. They will allow you to go from the freezer to the wok in about 10 minutes. So after I take the chicken out from the freezer, I put them in a bowl of lukewarm water and they will be thawed out in 10 minutes. I coat the chicken with a thin layer of cornstarch. This will give the chicken a slight crispy texture. I use a method known as shallow frying because I'm going to fry the chicken on one side first by spreading out on the surface of the wok, and then I would turn it over to fry the other side. It's very similar to deep frying, but it uses far less oil. And next, I add about half cup of cashew nuts, and the cashew nuts that I use that have never been roasted or salted, so they are referred to as natural cashew nuts. Basically, what I'm doing is that I'm trying to fry the cashew nut at the same time with the chicken. I add the cashew nut a little bit later because the cashew nut fries very quickly. In fact, you will notice that they turn brown almost immediately in the hot oil. This method, frequently known as sequential stir frying, you fry whatever that you need to cook for less amount of time by adding them later during the cooking process. If I add the cashew nut too early, they probably will get burned. Or the other option is that you can fry the cashew nuts separately from the chicken and then remove them and add them back to the dish later on. This method definitely is more efficient, but the cashew nut might not be as crisp if you have fried them separately. Next, I add some poblano pepper that I cut into thin strips. I have the poblano pepper actually in my advanced prepping, so all I need to do is to look for them. Pepper turnout do not have a good shelf life, so quite often I will either cut the pepper just before I start to cook, since it will not take that much time, or if I do have it in advanced prepping, I will try to use it up in about 1 or 2 days. And next, I'm going to season the dish very lightly with about 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce. The pepper will provide a very nice flavor to this dish, but more importantly is that the basil will add flavor to the dish. So in here, I use about half cup of basil leaves. These leaves are from my wife's garden, and they are actually really good sized leaves. One thing I have learned in the past, if you want to maintain the flavor of the basil, you must not overcook them. You should only cook them very lightly. It took only about 10 seconds to cook down the leaf, and by now the dish is done. I turn off the heat, and since I have an electric stove, the heat will remain constant for a little while. If I really want to stop the cooking process, I should remove the wok from the stove. And at this point, I add a little bit water from my squeeze bottle to the part of the wok. There are things that have stuck and burned to the surface. They are mainly some of the sauces. And this will allow me actually, first of all, to clean off this area. And secondly, is to return those material back to the flavor of the dish. As you can tell, this dish is extremely fast to cook. And it turned out that the combination of the oyster sauce, the poblano pepper, and the basil leaf, they work really well. And the cashew nut add a great deal to the dish as well. The main objective of this dish is to make sure the basil flavor comes through. And in order to achieve that, I cook the basil very lightly, only about 10 to 15 seconds. Basil has a very delicate flavor, and by cooking them too much, the flavor will blend with other ingredients in the dish. So in order to retain the basil flavor, you want to cook them lightly enough that the leaf still present. So when you eat it with other food ingredients, you can have a good taste of the basil flavor. I would have left this dish exactly the way it is, other than the fact that my son asked me, can I make it spicy? To achieve this goal, I use a chili sauce known as fried chili in oil. It is a very nice chili sauce because it has a relatively neutral flavor other than the spicy flavor, so it will not affect the flavor of the dish. And I just put a couple teaspoons over the surface of the dish. Of course, if you don't like spicy food, you can simply skip this step. Actually, this turned out to be a nice compromise because the chili oil is mostly on the top of the dish. So for people who do not like the spicy part of the dish, they can just simply gather it from the side of the dish. And this dish turned out to be great. The flavor was wonderful, and the basil flavor come through really well. And the same approach can be used in cooking a basil beef or a basil shrimp, and which I'm going to try in the near future. For those who are interested in a printed recipe, I have put a link below the video. However, this dish is really based on template-based cooking without any recipe. In fact, you can use these templates and to create many other variations of this basic dish. I post a video each day to help you to make home cooking as part of your daily routine using my fast cooking system. To me, it is important to make home cooking practical, efficient, creative, and fun, so you're able to use home cooking as a viable alternative to fast and ultra-processed food. If you're interested in the cooking system, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. So keep on cooking. I will see you tomorrow.